Video on demand is here and there's an audience for it. However, there is an audience who want to go to the theaters and see the movies there. How are you going to keep these people satisfied? How are you going to please VOD? Well, one thing that AMC Regal's doing is saying, nah, if you guys are going to do VOD movies, Universal, you can't have them in the theaters at the same time. That's awesome. That's having a backbone and that's saying no to the future that's going to kill you. However, what are you going to do for yourself? There's two reasons I can think of, maybe even three, but there's two reasons I can think of that we go to the theaters for. One of them is the big screen. You don't have that at home. I'm sure if you sit next to your TV and it's big enough, you can kind of ratio, it will equal the size of a big screen, but it's not the same. The second thing is community. The second part is when you're watching a big movie and people are all happy, or when you're watching a horror film and you all scream at the same time, that comedy, we all laugh. There's that idiot in the theater who laughs and claps. And I know I'm making a case now for people to watch movies at home. I understand that. But there are people like that who enjoy the community of it. Or when Captain America lifts the hammer and all the fanboys, if you go on opening weekend, are all making noise. Those people. When you're watching Creed and you're watching the big fight, and the people watching the theater resemble the fans also watching the fight in the movie. So community, that's one thing. And the other one was the big screen. I want the movie theaters now to capitalize on that with what they have. What they don't have is movies. They actually got to go to these studios to get them. What they need to do is produce their own movies. Now there's thousands of cinemas all over the world. I just want the big ones to go in and make phone calls and say, we together, we are going to fund a film, a project. It's going to be like a $50 million film, which is good. You know, you'll get your stuff. It'll have like medium actors. You don't really need a big actor. But the focus of this film is much like Avatar 2009. The focus of this film will be, you got to go see this in the theater. You've got to see it in 3D. There's a lot of movies that come out in 3D and IMAX and the different screens and the different chairs and, you know, all the gimmicks that they have. But how many really utilize those in the theaters? Exactly. None of them. It's 3D's it's done now. 3D is gone. What we need to do is make a movie specifically for 3D with 3D in mind. The studios, the film, the theaters are gonna fund it now. And if they all gotta drop like 10 million here, 10 million there, you get the 5 big ones. Boom. And then they can sell it to the small movie theaters who only own one location, you know, those really small ones. And they give them a decent price, whatever, you get money off of it from there. Because you're all about making money. You're not trying to kill the little guy, you're trying to make your money. And you would, you know, give them the same rules that Universal or the other Warner Brothers and Paramount and all those, give them the same deal that you would have given them. Boom, you're making money off of the little guys now. Easy. How it benefits you is 100% of that ticket sale goes to you, goes to the Cineplexes of the world, or the Landmarks, or the Regals, or the AMCs. They got, or Cineworld is another big one, which I think owns about half of those. They're going to get all of the money from the ticket price. With that incentive, now they can actually offer you deals like popcorn. They can even make popcorn for free. I'm not going to tell these guys how to run their businesses because I don't know anything about popcorn and drinks or anything. But I would say you go to a movie theater, like the actual auditorium. You go inside there, and there's already a popcorn machine there. Help yourself, and you get that. One thing that does is it reduces the line for everyone else in other movies. But because you watched a cinema-funded movie, you get that benefit. Cool, right? Or maybe a child's ticket, if you're watching one of our movies, it's only $1. Boom. All of a sudden, the family that we're going to go VOD option, because VOD means you get to get the whole kids here to pay $20. That's what Trolls was, right? $20. And then you get to see the film all, and you just pay for his ticket and her ticket, it's your kids, and my ticket, and it was $20. But now you just say, it'll be about the same price because the adult will pay the full price, and then the two kids get those kids tickets for $1. Boom, you get to see it in a big screen now, which is way better than home, which is an experience that parents want to give their kids. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you could just get 100% of that ticket price, or maybe even reduce the ticket price. You probably don't want to do that because when you reduce the ticket price, you send the perception that it's also less valuable than the regular movies. So the ticket price should stay the same. The perks should come with it. But again, I'm not a theater, so I can't tell people how to run their businesses, but that's the way I would have done it. Just free drinks and free popcorn while you're inside there. Let's also look at the option of trivia. Before I go to a movie theater at certain theaters, right before the movie starts, there's like games you can play, and you can win your points, and if you get enough points, you get a free popcorn or a free movie ticket, and you can redeem that. You can also redeem your points by buying tickets. Okay, well, what about we do intermission in the middle of a movie? Intermission only helps the cinemas because that's a good time to go to the bathroom. That's a good time to, I can actually buy something for a toy outside, or I can buy this. So get a 15-minute intermission. In the middle of that, get out your phone. This whole film we were watching, we're gonna ask you questions about this. We're even gonna give you influence on how this movie goes. Let's say you're watching a whodunit, big mystery, and we all go in the middle of the movie, while everyone's on break, 15 minutes, they ask you, who did you think it was? Did you think it was Jason, or did you think it was Alex? And now you get to vote for Jason or Alex. And everyone in that theater thought it was Jason. Now, the film that we're watching, they actually filmed the scene where the main protagonist, the main character says, Jason, I think it's you because da-da-da. My voting on the app influenced the way that it worked out there. And we'll see the results right away. We'll see, looks like 51% of the theater thought it was Jason. Hopefully it's not 51. Hopefully it's like an overwhelming 90%. And you can get that laughter from everyone watching with you. Like, you see? Or you know what I mean? Like there's that community aspect of it. So now in the movie, all of a sudden, 10 minutes in, you're back from the intermission, and your main hero goes, hey, Jason, it was you, because I noticed that you dropped your thing. It doesn't have to be Jason. I don't want to change the whole movie because of it. We can still have the masked man turn out to be, who it was always going to turn out to be, whether you voted Jason or whether you voted for Alex, if that was his name. It was Alex. But still, just the fact that, my input mattered and it changed the way I saw this film, that can't be done anyway. That's why wrestling is the way wrestling is. It's, if I can bring things to pro wrestling, but you get that immediate fan interaction. You get the immediate knowledge of who's popular and who you should continue going with, who should be your main eventer, who's the moneymaker, just by the sound of the crowd, by the interaction level. And this is taking notes out of the wrestling playbook, which I do every single time I do these videos, because pro wrestling is the best. It's the greatest. And then we look at the Screen X. You're going to have these filmmakers film with the intention that this will be seen with 3 screens in that theater, and you're actually going to utilize them properly. Same with the smelling. You can smell flowers in those 4DX chairs. We're going to do that. We're going to actually use that. A movie which story will be very, 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 very intertwined with the settings, with the theater experience. That took me a while to get that out, but that's what I mean. That's how these films need to be now. And it needs to be the theaters themselves funding it. And there's so many of them. It'll be worth it if they all drop a couple of million here and there. They will make that easily. Because if one of these films is a hit, and what's a hit? A hit is like $300-400 million in the box office worldwide. Where if one of those films get like that, build momentum. The second one will be just as popular. Will be just as popular. Will be just as popular. And then all of a sudden, you actually hear, this is a theater exclusive. They'll give it a sexy name, but they'll give it, this is a theater exclusive film. Oh, theater exclusive. We got to see this one. It's got a good reputation, kind of like Netflix original. They've done a good job of giving that a good reputation. Here you go. You can only see these in the theaters, and we'll never stop showing them in our theaters. We'll make a habit of every Wednesday, because I think that's the slowest day of the movie week. You're going to get one of those classic, that movie from 2020, that theater exclusive? We'll bring it back just so you can watch it in the theaters again. You can only see these in the theaters, and we're not ever going to take it away from you guys. So now all of a sudden, you got to see these in the theaters. You won't be able to see these at home. That's what I'm talking about. They have a backbone and they can tell Universal, no, no, no. They also got to start making their own films. Same way Disney Plus makes their own original content. Disney Plus made it so that you can see Star Wars at home. Look out, that's a warning shot right there. Star Wars used to be a film thing. Now you can see it at home. And no one's complaining, because Mandalorian is wicked. Clone Wars is wicked. They're all good. the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're doing shows like that too. You see what I mean? Like they slowly are changing. Yeah, they're still using you, but there's going to be a day when they won't need you anymore, and that's coming. You got to give people a reason to go to your theaters. And I'm saying cut out the middleman, the same way that Disney's trying to cut out you, Netflix is trying to cut out you, the same way they're cutting out you. You guys got to cut off them and say we're doing our own thing. Get, be friends with your other cinemas companies. Be friends with the Regals if you happen to be AMC. Talk about it. Co-fund these films. Include the other big corporations or the big franchise movie theaters from other countries. Include them. Cut them in on the deal. Because we only got to pay if there's enough of them. I don't know how many there are, but if there's like enough of them, imagine only paying $4 million and you get your own movie that you own, and no one can take it away from you. If every big conglomerate is paying like 4 million, and it rakes in probably 3 times that, just because that's the way movies are, and you give it enough publicity. You don't even gotta hire big name actors. You just gotta the scene, that's a bad word, but the setting, the actual auditorium sells itself. This, you gotta see this one in 3D. I heard about people, remember that epic scene when the chair shook? Oh yeah, the chair shook at that moment. Like, you know what I mean? You actually got to focus on the chair shaking, and this just popped up in my head. But what if there's a moment where the fans get to figure things out? Like, the chair shakes every time the enemy does this, but this time the chair didn't shake, so I knew that the character wasn't lying when he said that. Kind of like Daredevil can detect a lie. But imagine something like that. And I got like 1,000 of ideas in my head that just spawned right now. Because they weren't thought out, I will not repeat them. I want to know what you have to say also in that comment section. How could the theaters themselves, change the way films are produced? I'm saying intermission, I'm saying reduced ticket prices, incentives that you all of a sudden don't got to worry about because you're getting 100% of that ticket price. Then you can give these guys popcorn. I'm saying you got to make the community better. You already have the big screen. That's what I'm saying. Let me know what you think.